It's the X52 podcast, Sunday night, November 3rd, 7:42 p.m. as we get this bad boy rolling. My name is Jake Louque. We're presented by Jimmy's Famous Seafood. I'm joined by Spenny. Ravens get it done today against the Denver Broncos, 41-10. Spenny, you got the I don't want to make it adversarial off the rip here. You've got the vest on. It's feeling a little whining cheese. Were you sitting in the, in the suite? Were you talking with the private equity guys? Like, what was going on today? How did that go?
Had a little bit of trouble deciding exactly what to wear. So it was a little chilly, a little warm. So I decided to heat up my core, Jake. I was not. I drank Natural Light and Surfsides, if you must know. What did you drink, Buster?
I drank, Surfsides, actually. It's funny you mentioned that. I did have a few of those. I had a couple Coors Lights. Did a Stella when I got into the stadium. I'm not a big drink when I get into the stadium guy. I kind of like to do that when I'm, out in the tailgate. But, Stella in there, it was a good day ultimately. And obviously the tailgate that I go to has plenty of, just a great selection. So I had a good time, But, it was just a comment on, listen, as I said, I don't want to make it adversarial. I think you look fantastic. I was just making a comment.
It's not adversarial, Jake. It's okay. I look a little snooty. It's because the collars pop, probably, mostly. There we go. How's that for you?
What's the brand on it?
Orvis.
What is it?
It's an Orvis fly fishing vest.
God damn. Be more of a fucking, stuck up rich person if you tried. I mean,
be more. Speaking of stuck rich people, Sean Payton comes into Baltimore, gets shellackied. Your boy Jake. The Ravens just, after one initial little hiccup, they turned the football over, which so many people were so glad to see. So glad to see, as we have Shawnee Boy here saying, Carl Granderson and Calais Campbell, please. Love that comment, Shawnee Boy. Appreciate the super there. And any combination of inside and outside. We can start with the negative, I suppose, which would probably be the Ravens pass rush. Tavius Robinson does finish with 2 sacks, but the Ravens were not able to generate pressure, and Bo Nix did miss some throws, and Bo Nix does stink on the road, and he is a rookie quarterback, but it did feel like if there's one little teeny tiny thing, and I'm usually Mr. Positive Optimism, and I get a lot of flack for that, but if there's one thing I'm going to immediately poo-poo on, it is pass rush. The Ravens were sending 6, 7 at times in the first half, not able to get anything going. In this one, it did to me at the game feel like up close and personal a little bit that the Broncos were kind of sliding and cutting and sending a back to chip at Matabike. The Ravens tried to move Matabike around a little bit. Bo Nix, man, really was like a deer. He reminded me of a gazelle, a deer, a nilgai, an African deer, if you will, with his agility. He's thin. He's a little long-legged in person, I'd say, too. He's kind of leggy in a weird way and moves a little atypical. He was slippery. He was a little bit of grease lightning.
Did you see that tweet that I had?
Which one? I haven't checked a ton of Twitter today.
Bo's a problem.
You said Bo is a problem?
I was taken to the woodshed by that tweet, and I think rightfully so. Here's the thing, Bo Nix is a lot of people, and you could rewind the clock back 5-6 years to Josh Allen. A lot of people would have said the same thing about Josh Allen in this exact same situation 6 years ago. I tweeted Bo's a problem. A lot of people were like, our defense is a problem. The Ravens defense cannot contain. And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Like, you guys, you're on the money there. But he's got enough that he could survive in the NFL for a little while. And if he can, kind of, learn a little bit under Sean Payton, if he could kind of contain things a little bit.
You actually did. I'm seeing your tweet now. You did not even get ratioed. Everyone on your tweet agreed with you.
There were a lot of people that were like, Ravens defense is a problem. And I was like, you know what? You guys are probably correct about that. I think
we need maybe the chat can enter this one. I'm going to say
chat. Is Bo Nix a problem?
Is Bo Nix a problem? Did Jake get ratioed? I think is the real context there. I don't think
I did. And I think I did. And I think it was rightful. Sometimes you got to take the L. I'm going to take the L on that one.
I think you're fine. He was running around. He missed a lot of throws. There were breakdowns to be had. There were touchdowns to be thrown. There were several of them. There was receivers streaking downfield. There were touchdowns to be had by the Broncos. And luckily, a big part of the scouting report is that if you can make Bo Nix throw on the run, he loses his mechanics. He throws like a shortstop that knows he doesn't quite have a play at first, but has to make a big play. So that, in many regards, was kind of the death. And he played well in the first half. I think what did you tweet that probably in the first quarter, if I had to guess based on the time?
I think it might have been the first quarter or like early second half. He was so the thing was he had evaded a sack and like picked up a first down with his legs on a third down, I think it was. And like that was my whole deal. It's like he's gonna, he could try to make throws. He had missed a couple throws to your point. But like the thing was he was picking up first downs with his legs. And when you're allowing that to happen with a rookie quarterback who's like got the physical ability that this guy does, that's where you're inviting yourself to trouble. Overall, it wasn't like, my God, this guy is like the second coming of Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely not. But I think Bo Nix is going to have a future in this league. That is my takeaway from this game. I don't think he was amazing, but like, dude's solid. I think he'll be all right. With Sean Payton specifically, we'll see how long Sean hangs around. My God,
I am concerned by his lack of ability to re-square and throw the football in those moments. When he does make creative plays happen and creates throwing windows, he consistently is horrible in terms of accuracy. That has been a problem. He is not. Jaden Daniels is 23 years old, 24 years old. So how much development in terms of mechanics while you're in the NFL can you do quickly enough to retain your job and stay with your coach? The Broncos now move to 5-4 after the Ravens win 41-10, but we'll see. Yeah, Bo Nix, he creates enough to have opportunities to make plays, but isn't making them consistently enough. And I thought that was kind of the highlights of today. Backed up after, so the Ravens pick off. Ardarius Washington has a tip pass interception. The Ravens, I think, opening possession, don't run Derrick Henry in field goal territory, knowing they're getting the ball after half. Lamar takes an ugly sack. The Ravens don't convert points there. Nix gets backed up to basically the 1 yard line, converts, I believe, a third down on a tight window throw, drives the ball to Cortland Sutton on Brandon Stevens, gets up to midfield, and was able to move the ball. Jake, what did we talk about in the preview so much? Red zone.
Yeah.
The Broncos' red zone offense and them being simple. And if that is what the Ravens can't contain, then there are issues. And we said, hey, we're not jumping down Zach Orr's throat, but if Bo Nix lights you up in the red zone, and it looks like it's looked throughout the first 6, 7, 8 weeks of the season for the Broncos, that's a big issue. So was glad to see the Ravens be able to shut it down. They get some key stops in, short yardage situations. I believe on that same drive in the first quarter, as I have a little lisp that pops out there.
I've got one every word I speak. So
there's a comment in here. The boy smashed. Jake's a little smashed. I'm buzzed. But I
just want to have. I wanted to have one good day. Can I have one good day?
You need to have more good days. I do this all the time. But the Broncos try to convert the fourth down. They run a pitch, and it ends up getting challenged, I believe, by John Harbaugh. Great challenge by John Harbaugh. We got to give him that.
I said that in the moment. I was talking to the Bear. I was like, yo, this one, like, if he does not, if they give it to them, okay, like, you have to throw that challenge. Like, I will give John all the grace in the world if he throws that one and they don't get it. They got it. Absolutely. They should have had it. That was a great challenge.
And I think I have, hopefully I don't do what I did a couple episodes ago and put up the wrong thing here, but right there, you can see how close McLaughlin was to the first down marker. You can see the knee down, and it was pretty quick. So the Broncos did a nice job trying to run up to the line of scrimmage. But, yeah, it was that close. Great challenge from John Harbaugh. You can see the knee down, knee before the ball, all that good stuff, and able to get off the football field and keep going there. That was huge. At that point, you had already missed out on the turnover and converting that turnover in Broncos territory to points. And the thing, I guess, overarching to open it up that stood out to me was that Lamar Jackson missed 2 days of practice. They didn't call a single quarterback run concept. I don't feel like they even really used much option. I'm going to go back and watch maybe 2-3 option plays, maybe, if that. Takes that bad sack on that first drive because it felt like he didn't want to move and maybe was tight and not feeling great. So for Lamar and for Todd Monken and for this offense and for the run game to effectively handicap Lamar Jackson, not use his legs, and still do what they did. light the Broncos up, 7 yards a play. Just unbelievable what they were able to do in terms of efficiency. Lamar Jackson ends up having as many touchdowns as incompletions. Finishes this one 16 of 19, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. The only sack he took was on the first drive.
What was
without
his
really running the ball?
What was his passer rating today?
It was a perfect 158.3. Tied Ben Roethlisberger for the most in NFL history. If I recall correctly, Ben Roethlisberger accomplished that feat at 34 years old. Lamar Jackson, not even quite 30 yet.
Yeah, no, it was and like I don't know. I think early on, like I want to say that like I was comfortable. You know, I talked about with that Commanders game that I was comfortable in the second half. I wouldn't say that I was like super comfortable in this first half, but like as soon as they had gone up a couple of touchdowns, and then obviously going into the second half when they scored the second touchdown with Flowers there, I was like, yep, that's it. Like it just feels like with this team, like you kind of know right away with the offense if they're going to be able to dictate the pace of the game. And they did today. And like that kind of, it feels like that gives confidence to the defense too. I don't know if that makes sense or anything, but ultimately I was just like, man, like it seems like they're ready to play. The defense is going to kind of take their cues, and it just seems like it went from there.
Certainly, Ben Roethlisberger accomplished his. He had 4. He had 1 in 2005, 1 in 2007, 2 in 2007. One of which against the Ravens, and then the last one was in 2018 when Ben Roethlisberger was 36 years and just over 3 months of age. So Lamar Jackson doing it nearly a decade before Roethlisberger did. And I just want to take a moment and think about that and think about what Lamar Jackson's been doing through the air this season. It reminds you of 2021 in ways, I believe, when the Ravens had all of those injuries and couldn't really rely on their run game. We saw him take that step as a passer, and it feels like 2021 on anabolic steroids that are being freebased and smoked. It is wild, the efficiency that he's been achieving. It feels like the only quarterback that comes to mind, the efficiency and the breadth of what types of concepts they run, things like that, is undefeated Patriots. Tom Brady is like Randy Moss, Tom Brady, and Lamar is like kind of also the Randy Moss of this scenario. Like Zay Flowers has been outstanding, on pace for 1,200 yards, has his 4th 100-yard receiving game in the last 5 games. Unbelievable. I'll say is the most talented receiver they've ever drafted, especially in the first round. We can see that far and away. But Lamar is just processing, reading the football field, putting the ball in the right spots, attacking zone, beating man quickly, throwing the ball away. Like, did take the 1 sack early, but I don't know. It is a joke what he's doing. And I will say the Broncos defense was so highly lauded. That's the matchup, right? The immovable object meets the unstoppable force. And I don't think we talked about in the preview, the Broncos haven't really played that great of a schedule pertaining to quarterbacks in particular, but he graded them. He took them to a cheese grater and made every single throw all day, pushed the ball, is confidently resting in the fourth quarter. Josh Johnson comes in, I don't know, 8 minutes, 41 seconds left maybe when the Ravens got the ball back, something like that.
That first touchdown to Flowers, he's just kind of sitting in the pocket a little bit, steps up, boom. And we talked about it in the group chat. I mean, that's just kind of, that's Lamar, like at his absolute best. Like he's kind of moving into a new echelon with that, obviously right there. And then right before the half, I was actually, I was using the facilities and getting myself a beverage and a hot dog. Hits Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers turns nothing essentially, or I shouldn't say nothing, but obviously he's getting into Bronco territory. He turns that into a touchdown, kind of out of nowhere. All of a sudden, it's just that felt like the game to me. Like, and it's just like that's where this offense is right now. Like this offense could take them to wherever they need to be, and it's like, is the defense on the same kind of caliber? I don't know if we can quite say that, but they showed up today as well, I would think.
Certainly, and a throw early on that I think let the Broncos know what was about to happen was following the overturned 4th and 1, the challenge successful 4th and 1 to Javonte Williams. The Broncos, I think, bluffed a blitz on maybe 2nd and 10 or 12 or something like that. And Lamar broke down. The read wasn't there. And instead of leaving the pocket, he trusted it, sat in it, and delivered a strike over top to what looked like it was probably zoned to Nelson Aguilar for an explosive gain. And I think that is where the floodgates really started to open, just realizing that he could trust his line a little bit on a day where maybe he wasn't feeling as spry and squirrely as usual. Immediately after that, I think play later hits Rashad Bateman to convert a first down, just pushing the ball against downfield, up the stick, so to speak. And then that's where Derrick Henry, I think, who did have some comments after the game that I think people were kind of laughing at, but following that, the comments from Derrick Henry were effectively that he didn't play well. He said in his own analysis, he didn't play really well and, has a lot to improve on still, which he runs for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. And on that first touchdown drive, he did have, I think they did a toss sweep and got a guard and maybe a tackle out in front, and he gets like a 7-yard gain. And then on the ensuing play from 2nd and 3, he plunges into the end zone. He did feel, I will say, I know people will laugh at that comment. He did feel a little tentative in the beginning of the game. The Broncos are loading the box. The Ravens are going kind of heavy. And it felt like he was starting to shuck and jive at the line of scrimmage and not just plunging downhill. And as the game wore on, he attacked.
That's my question. It feels like teams have tried to do that throughout the course of the season. Some of them have succeeded and others have not. When they start to key on that, is it just you go to the rest of the offense and Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers, which obviously was success today? You just kind of go to that and hope that that's going to be okay? Because I don't know. I feel like in the first half, that's okay, but you know what I'm saying?
It's the fastball. If somebody hits your fastball a couple times, you're going to go away from the fastball. That's what I'm hearing from you. And you're curious to see if the Ravens just keep throwing the fastball and daring you to hit it if they get stuffed a couple of times. And I think they did. They did mix it up a little bit, running a little bit more zone, it felt like maybe in the 2nd and 3rd quarter, as opposed to some gap stuff early and getting the ball in the perimeter a little bit more against a defense that's kind of struggled up the gut some. But in this game, I do feel like the pass opened up the run a little bit more. And they didn't really get away from Henry. He didn't have a ton of rushing yards in the first half. I can go check the stats. But it felt like the play action did work to open up the run game. And that Lamar was putting the ball in the right spot so consistently that what have we talked about? I don't want to make life easy on Lamar. I want to make life easy on Derrick Henry instead. If I make life easy on Lamar, it is a brutal, violent death. I can kind of fight Derrick Henry, and it's in the world of, being able to get off the football field. They did have the one mishap in the 2nd quarter, which looked like it was a speed option that went the wrong way, or Henry went the wrong way, or I guess it was Henry maybe bubbled out. That was really the one miscue, sack early, and then that one. And then from there, by the time it was...
They had the bad snap as well, the snap that kind of went... I don't
they have a bad snap every other game. I don't know. It's
just what are we doing with that? Can we not have that anymore? We've got an all-pro type center.
Was not a thing that happened on Tyler Linderbaum's tape either, which is what's funny about it.
It's like Matt Skura. It was oh my God, let's get rid of Matt Skura. Let's get rid of
McCary had thrown some high ones.
Exactly.
Skura had thrown some low ones, and then Linderbaum's had 3 bad snaps this year.
It's an interesting, very interesting phenomenon that I am keeping an eye on. Let's just say that.
I agree. I think a lot of Ravens fans are. But then through that kind of 2nd quarter, that's where the Broncos continue to find rhythm, play action. Bo Nix had a big scramble drill to Javonte Williams, converted a couple. I think he made Roquan Smith kind of shy away in the open field on 3rd and 5.
Are you talking about the
pump
fake? Yeah, he
pumped Roquan and got by him. Then he fired one to Cortland Sutton up the side. I mean, this is the thing. For the things that Bo Nix doesn't do well that we talked about, maybe resetting and being able to recompose and fire an accurate pass, he can run and command an offense as a rookie. Again, an older rookie that has a lot of experience, but no huddle. It felt like timing was there. Timing was there with Bo Nix. Timing was there all around, and I was impressed in that aspect. Ravens go up 10-0. Broncos are able to drive down the field on those exact situations and scenarios. Nix does miss on 3rd and goal. I believe maybe Lil Jordan Humphrey in the back of the end zone, who tries to make a diving catch, like a wide open play. And then that's where the reverse to Courtland Sutton comes out to Bo Nix. That got to tip your cap, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure Courtland Sutton might have gotten, he was the one who threw it, right? It was Sutton. Yeah, Sutton got folded like a lawn chair on that throw. That is a hard throw. It was outside of the hash to the right pylon. Flat throw, tough angle. You know, people are like, Marcus Williams, I mean, sure, I guess play the ball better. Tough ass throw. Not an easy catch either.
Way bigger than him. Like, I don't know. I totally get the, like, not being happy about that play. I wasn't either. Like, you look at the matchup, like, you've got to, like, blow that up, like, in the moment on your front 7 or your front 4, I should say. And, like, if you don't, like, you leave yourself open to the Phillies. They
did kind of. Of course, they hit. Sutton got hit hard on that.
He did. Yeah, exactly. So, like, you've got to be perfect. You have to be perfect. And if you're not, like, boom. And, like, that was, like, it was a sequence where that was a long 1, 2, 3 downs where, like, you know, I was not standing up for any of those downs. I was like, you know what, defense, like, get him to 4th down, and then I'll stand up. Like, I'll do that kind of. I will believe in you until you make that happen. And ultimately, they make the 4th down happen. I stand up. I'm like, oh my god! Everyone's like, doing the whole thing on 4th down, and then they hit that Philly special on them. And I was like, you know what? Like, you get what you deserve. And, like, Williams just not big enough to defend it straight up. And, like, that's just kind of the thing that happens sometimes. Sometimes you scheme it up and you make it happen. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the drive of the game was the ensuing Ravens drive. I think the defining point in the game was I think that, well, maybe the Ravens converted a set of downs, and then Lamar hits the play action, crossers, Zay Flowers, man coverage over top of, I think, Riley Moss on a dart throw where Flowers has to kind of spin and pirouette and catch the football. Ravens are down at the like 35 or 40-yard line. And then the Justice Hill rail route. Drop in the bucket, tough catch. I mean, a lot of running backs fuck that play up. Fuck that catch up, and you're like, ooh, he's not a receiver. Huge on 3rd and 4. Huge on 3rd and 4. And Jake, that led to the play that you discussed, where I think the Broncos rushed 4, and then Lamar dips his shoulder, re-squares, and then fires to Zay Flowers. Then you're up 17-7 again, and you're getting the ball after half, and you've put urgency back into the Broncos. So going up 17-7 there, going the length of the field, the 3 throws Lamar Jackson made, 2 Flowers over Moss, tight contested throw, 20 yards downfield, big time throw by PFF probably. Then the Justice Hill rail route, another drop in the bucket, then re-square and throw to Zay Flowers. 3 big throws against a very highly touted pass defense. None of them wide open. It wasn't like any of those were just, oh, blown coverage, Lamar flicks the ball. All really, really accurate touch throws, in rhythm, on time, sexy throws. Sexy man, Lamar Jackson today.
Yeah, I was really impressed. I mean, that throw to Hill that you mentioned, I was worried that was not going to be a catch, obviously, because, like, I was kind of sitting on that side of the field. I was like, did the ground, like, mess with everything? Like, no, absolutely not. Obviously, the throw to Flowers in the end zone, he kind of did. We talked about in the group chat. It's kind of similar to Nelly, or in last week, where he stands up, fires it in there. I don't know, man. He's just on another level right now. And, like, you see people talking about MVP for other guys. I totally get it. He's still right in that conversation. And the fact that he went out there, and we've talked about how he's hurt all week and he only practiced on Friday. Like, this dude is just absolutely on another level right now. Like, what else can you say about Lamar Jackson?
Not a ton, man. Definitely the clear MVP so far. Following that before the half was it was really a pretty crazy string of events. It went Philly to Bo Nix. That drive where Lamar made those 3 big throws. The Ravens get the Broncos to 3rd and 10 with like 3 minutes left and blow a coverage. Courtland Sutton has like a 30-yard reception down the sideline. Then from there, Bo Nix running around, scrambling, runs for a 1st down, able to effectively go get a stop there, force the field goal. Bo Nix misses a throw from a very clean pocket. That's where the pass rush was seriously concerning, was on that drive prior to the half before that final Zay Flowers touchdown. Nix had all day. That was not fun to watch as a Ravens fan, how much time he had. 17-10, you get the ball after half, and Lamar just pumps one downfield to Zay Flowers. I don't know what to say about that play other than, whew, you got Broncos secondary got shit on by Zay Flowers. I don't know. I can't remember who the defender was that was nearest in coverage. I think it was 26 was nearest. It was kind of a blown coverage area. But my God, there's 5 defenders there. Zay just kind of switches direction. Rashad Bateman comes up and like cleanly blocks through to not get a penalty. And then holy shit, man, Zay Flowers. Like that kind of felt like that Miami Dolphins game from last year in many ways.
Sure.
Towards the end of the season there. Just an embarrassment of riches for the Ravens offense today. And Zay Flowers, none of the Broncos defenders could hang with him today.
Yep, I was on the concourse for that one, similar to the one from last year when I was in. I think we were in one of the like markets, where you live on. What's the main sort of drag, the market that's in there?
Cross Street Market.
Yeah, we were in there, and I went to the bathroom, and that was when Zay Flowers scored that touchdown against the Dolphins. He scored a touchdown when I was going to the bathroom today, and I was like, you know what? Every first half, right before it, I'm going to go to the restroom, and hopefully Zay Flowers will score every single time. But I saw some chatter this upcoming week about and from some people that are, I would say they're uninformed, but like I don't blame them for being uninformed. These are like fantasy football people, like, oh, Deontay Johnson, like, is he the wide receiver 1 for the Ravens now? And my thought was, and I didn't want to reply this to these people because I totally get like why you're not watching the Ravens every week and you wouldn't think this way. Like, I get why you wouldn't like think that Zay Flowers is a wide receiver 1. But at this point, like, he totally is, man. Like, you watch this game today and all these games throughout this year, and particularly the last couple of weeks, he's just totally taken over. And like that game that he had, and obviously the touchdown right before the half, like, the dude just took it over in a way that Ravens wide receivers do not typically. Like, this dude is just absolutely, I tweeted it out, he's the truth. Zay Flowers equals the truth. And he is the element that this offense had been missing. And they hoped that Hollywood Brown would be it. Hollywood Brown, nice player. Zay Flowers, way better. Like, that's just where we're at. Like, this guy is absolutely the truth.
The Steve Smith comp gets thrown around a lot for different receivers. But the physicality and the toughness at his size, you just loving these comments here, Jake.
I am, yeah.
Yeah. The physicality at the size and the willingness after the catch to Mike Tomlin, I think, put it best last year, said he's willing to go into dark places at his size and he enjoys it. He's a fearless receiver, which can be to your advantage when you have that lower stature, your center of gravity is a little lower and you have the quick twitch ability. He can lose you. And especially those first 5 steps, if you're even, he's leaving. Definitely. Because he can accelerate way more thoroughly. And then from there, man, I mean, 24-10 Ravens. In that second half, Henry started to pick up steam. It felt like he got so decisive. They started working that kind of mid-zone, outside zone, knowing that you want to cut it up, spreading it out a little bit more. And Henry then just turned into a bowling ball. I mean, we're getting... not just we as Ravens fans, but we as football fans are desensitized to the things that Derrick Henry can do on a football field. 4 or 5 of the most disgusting, just get off me's, stiff arms, sliding you down, just breaking your spirit. Definitely, especially on that second touchdown too. 2 defenders just lunging at him. If you hit him anywhere other than his feet and knee down, you're absolutely fucked. So,
how do you feel about the receivers trying to copy him? Because this was a conversation in the group chat with me, you, and Cole.
The receivers trying to be big body?
Not be big body, but like they catch it and then they try to cut it up and like, do all
the
that.
Drop step.
I
think it might have been Derek Clausen of, what is he, the Ringer now? They've been all over the place. They kind of drop step and don't just catch through. It was funny because that's what Zay Flowers did on that touchdown that he scored on. He kind of did take the one drop step, shifted his weight, and then took off again and could re-accelerate after decelerating quicker than anyone else could. So I don't know. I think the Ravens skill players all change direction better than any other team. I think that's one of their greatest skills as a team. I think a lot of it actually stems from Lamar and watching Lamar come to a stop and then go back and is accelerating much quicker than you are trying to break down his movements. And I think Zay Flowers has that same, it could be just a product of playing in South Florida, right? Like, people from different regions are going to pick up on different kind of intricacies or styles or skill sets. And the Ravens have quite a few Florida boys on this football team now. So I think it's consistent with Keith Williams also kind of dropping the hips, stopping, sitting down, decelerating. I think it's one of the most underrated skills, the ability to how quickly can you come to a pause from a 70%, 80% speed. And I think the Ravens do that really well. So could they run through the catch a little better? I mean, we saw Bateman last week against the Browns had that slant early in that game, right? We talked about that one. That could have been a game-changing play, but I think it was maybe Emerson or Newsome, one of the two, makes a big tackle after he made someone miss. So definitely want to see them run after the catch a little bit more, but they are redonkulous after the catch and after contact right now. I don't want to tell them to do anything, especially not Zay Flowers, especially not Lamar, especially not Derrick Henry. What are you going to – three of the most dangerous people in the world with football in their hand. Yeah, we got M in the comments here. They do get shifty. It's freaky naughty. It's real freaky naughty what they do with the football in their hands.
No, I'm into that, especially because like Zay finds a way to, make an extra 5 yards when like he would have lost, 5 yards when he catches the ball. So like I'm into them trying to copy him. It's interesting because like even with Zay, I'm like, fuck man, like sometimes just cut it up and like maybe try to get the sideline. I don't know. I know you think the same way. I know you and Cole do, but like it's just like it's funny that like they all seem to be kind of copying and Bateman in particular.
Well, Don C in the comments here, the one player, a great comment, I think that counterbalances that very much so is Justice Hill, and he doesn't do any of that. He pretty much gets completely north and changes gears, and he'll lightly kind of bob in and out, but he has his shoulders upfield all the time. And to your point, Jake, I mean, Bateman not doing that, Flowers not doing that. Henry, I think, did that in the second half a little bit more than kind of doubting himself at times, maybe. But yeah, it's a really fun football team to watch. And oh, by the way, Keaton Mitchell, the birdies are saying is going to make his debut on Thursday night, and that's why they didn't want him to play in this one. He's been taking reps on kick return.
I'm so excited.
Keaton Hitch. Oh my God, I just completely botched both of his names. About this.
Keaton Mitchell. I'm so excited.
Keaton Kitchell.
I'm so excited.
Keaton Mitchell is like Justice Hill as well. He doesn't really deviate. He's more of a bounce and run. So now you've just got a whole dish. You've got the fat, the salt, the heat, and the whatever the other element. I don't know. The acidity there. Thank you, Francine.
Can she make an appearance? Can we do the franchise?
She can have her 2 cents.
Segment of the week.
Have her 2 cents. She doesn't have any.
I know you heard me. I know you hear me.
She's back there. She'll come over if she thinks of something. But now you have the perfect dish, right? You've got the shifty, you've got the strong. Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, subcategories of Derrick Henry, I'd say, with that just big-bodiedness. Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill, investors, possibly the Super Bowl.
Oh, go Pirates. That's all I have to say.
Fran wanted to say, go Pirates, ECU. There we go.
Does she have any Keaton Mitchell takes that she wants to get off? Franchise? I know you hear me. Do you have any Keaton Mitchell takes?
Any Keaton Mitchell takes for you, Francine?
I'm excited to see him play.
She's excited to see him play in person. She's coming to the game on Thursday.
So am I. Did you hear? I didn't tell you, did I?
I don't think so.
Mary Louque got some club seats for the
Ooh,
family.
Mary, time to roll. It's a family affair.
Oh, it'll be a family affair. I'm so excited.
We got Joe in the comments says that the salt is Lamar, the fat is Henry, the acid is Hill, and the heat is Mitchell. There you go. That is the quadruple threat.
The acid is Hill. Let me bet all the way on Hill.
That is the dish. That is the
Hill will change your perspective on the world if you bet on Justice Hill. Let me tell you that.
Baltimore Sports Providence says here, it's just truly hard to predict who goes off for this offense every week.
Yeah. That's why I was telling the Bear and Mike, who hosts the tailgate that we go to. He was like, "Yeah, Andrew's like he had the touchdown last week. Like, what do you think I should do?" I was like, "Well, you should probably bet Likely this week because like you have one that does one week, bet the other tight end the other week, and obviously wrong this week, but they have so many options. Like that's kind of where I was going. It's like, they do one guy one week and then, well, no Diddy. They do one guy one week and then they come to the other guy the other week. No Diddy as well. I don't know, man. There's just a lot to go, a lot to go around, a lot of balls to go around, a lot of mouths to be fed, as should be said.
Just Jacob Diddy Louque. Just getting after it tonight.
Come on, there's no Diddy here. There's absolutely
no. I don't know. There was some diggities and some ditties.
No, I said no Diddy.
All right. Okay. Yeah, we got some aggressive comments here going on. You're really getting the people going. Yeah, no Diddy. This defense, though. The second half was what it was, right? The Ravens defense shut it down. Tavius Robinson gets 2 sacks. Ravens keep running the ball well. Sputter around a little bit. Patrick Ricard gets his touchdown. The guy needs one a year. It's just like the bare minimum. It's like give the ogre like one lollipop.
I tweeted like
give him one little sweet treat to keep him happy for abusing his body.
I tweeted that. I was like, that's how you know. Like, and there was no context beyond that. I was like, that's how you know. And that's how you know the game's boom. Like that's over. Like you're done. Yeah. Goodbye, Broncos. Go back to the Rocky Mountains. You're done. Like Pat Ricard scores a touchdown on you. Boom. You're out of here.
Boom. Roasted. So that was all good and dandy. My sneaky favorite play of the game was the final Broncos offensive play. Yeah, you got people pissed in the comments.
I'm on the watch list. Holy shit. I hope not.
I hope you
guys will stand up for me.
If you guys want to put us on the watch list and subscribe, that would be fantastic. We also said, so we shipped out that Derrick Henry jersey that should be arriving to Colin.
Yeah.
To Colin. He should be getting that here shortly. We will be giving away tickets to a game in December as our November giveaway.
November to remember
at the Kia Summer Sales event, the Kia Solstice sales event here. So if you want to enter, all you need to do is be subscribed to the YouTube and leave one comment saying any score prediction to any game that's upcoming and put hashtag November. So if you want to enter to win 2 Ravens tickets to a game in December, we'll get more details as we get a little closer to December, which game, but leave any score prediction with hashtag November on the YouTube page on any video. We will see it. So if you want to enter the November to remember tickets in December, go ahead and do that. Appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. But yeah, last play of the game, I can't remember who caught the football. I can look it up here, but it was Nate Wiggins in coverage with Ardarius Washington playing single high, which I love to see in the red zone. And it was 4th down and caught the ball on the 2-yard line. Wiggins grabbed, wrapped, fought with everything he had. Ardarius Washington drove, got off the football field, did not let the Broncos go take that moral victory late, did not let them get any of it at the very end of the game. Loved it. Loved that they got off the field at the very end of the game. Was fantastic to watch. Audric Estime kind of rumbled on that one. It was to Cortland Sutton, 4th and 10 from the Baltimore 10 with 2 minutes remaining. And yeah, Nate Wiggins and Ardarius Washington loved to see the intensity this defense had. Kyle Hamilton flying around with his hair on fire. Tavius Robinson gets a game ball, the 2 big sacks. Love to see him get some more snaps as this defense is not getting enough rush. Go to other guys. Let them go make plays. David Ajabo inactive in this one. Who knows? I mean, all the injuries, everything. Who the hell knows? Trenton Simpson gets a sack in this one. Ravens finished with 4 sacks. I believe the Ravens are still top 5 in sacks per game, despite the limited amount of pressure there. So I loved Ardarius Washington coming downhill, helping out Nate Wiggins, and finishing. Like, that is the shit that will make a coach go nuts. Like, fuck yeah. At the end of the game, you didn't quit and waver. At the end of the game, you treated every moment as seriously as you could. And Trenton Simpson's sack was pretty badass too.
And what happened early in the game? I mean, the interception. Like that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, if you're not going to be like stopping these teams on a consistent basis, and that's hard to do in 2024 anyway, got to get your hands on the ball, got to make splash plays. They make that splash play with the interception with Washington early on. Like that's exactly what you need. So
huge win with 3 AFC losses already. The Ravens moving to 6-3 is massive. Getting a win against the Bengals, coming off a win against the Raiders would be massive. Getting to 7-3, these are AFC games, a divisional game. So really not room for error. Really not room for error. I'll Stackhouse. We see your comment. I'll try and get you that. We'll do another little Thanksgiving thing here.
I took a picture.
I owe like 6 or 7 people shirts.
I was going to say I got to keep this guy in line. Like everyone's,
there's a couple of shirts. I owed a couple shirts out there.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down with him. I'm going to get him straight. I'm going to get him all the the seats and the shirts and everything that people need.
There we go. If we owe you something, let us know. We'll make sure to get it to you.
You have to prove it though. You have to have a receipt.
It's probably in the DMs. They're all in the DMs. It goes down in the DMs. Baltimore Sports Providence says, Ardarius Washington been a favorite of his since the 2021 draft. Liked him better than Merrick. Yeah, was a huge falling surprise. Everyone knew he was short and felt like he could play anyway, right? It was just that he was short. Has that been an issue once? He's playing an expansive role now. He's really a starter. I'll say he's definitely a starter. They deactivated Eddie Jackson.
We fucking loved him. I mean, like, we loved Merrick, obviously, and that's why we watched him. And we were like, yo, this other guy, like, he's pretty good. Like, is he?
I mean, he had a lot of buzz. He was a playmaker. He was a nationally known player at TCU.
Those TCU teams were good. And we were like, yo, this guy is like pretty good. Like, and he did not get drafted. I was very surprised by that. Ravens got him. I was very excited by that. And good player.
Those Gary Patterson defenses definitely had a lot of juice. Ben Benigou, a couple others there. So yeah, has that ever been an issue? Size is not a skill. Fuck you, Cole. Fuck you, Cole Jackson, and up there in freaking Ottawa. Oh, I can bet. Look, guys, I'm just like the rest of the Americans. I can bet too.
They tell about this offensive line. They got their technique is pretty good.
To be fair, Cole's biggest thing is that arm length doesn't matter. So size is not a skill. Who cares about length? It's all about the girth, right, baby?
I'm on the fucking recap show, Cole. We need to get him like on one of these because
T. Higgins did get him, and that was a little bit. Yeah, that is an example. You're right. That is right.
Cole just loves to have his Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to put a video up. We need to get Cole in the heat of the moment, emotional. We need to get him on one of these. We need to.
We'll get him on another one of these here shortly. He should be coming down. Can't remember. I don't know. Who knows? But huge win. I mean, shut shit down against this Broncos defense. We talked about it. They had the 27th schedule. They had not. I did think the Broncos were a little tiny bit of a paper tiger. But the way the Ravens defense had been, all the question marks they had, Lamar Jackson missing practice, Humphrey, Wiggins, Marcus Williams being in flux. I mean, injuries to Travis Jones, Michael Pierce, Brent Urban doesn't play in this one. And the Ravens are able to go do the damn thing. Held the Broncos to 6 of 14 on third down. Ravens were a little worse at 3 of 8, but luckily didn't need that many of them. The Ravens end up having 7.3 yards per play, holding the Broncos to 4.7. The net rushing yards here, I don't have the exact totals. Where is it? 127 to 122. So the Ravens barely outran the Broncos. Good bit of that was Estime at the end on his 21-yard run and some little chunks from Bo Nix. But Derrick Henry held to 4.6 yards per carry. Had a couple nice runs in the second half. So wasn't anything too crazy. Zay Flowers, 127. Justice Hill, the second leading receiver on the team. Cortland Sutton also finishes over 100 yards there. Did make some plays. Did test Brandon Stevens. Brandon Stevens also got the penalty. I just feel like the guy can't fucking do anything right and none of it's his fault. Like, I swear to God, the Devontae Adams shit in week 2, it just felt like he was in position and Adams is levitating with his toes just hovering while his body continues to fall. That one, him and Cortland Sutton, he didn't have he never extended his arms and his hands were not closed. His hands were open. So
he had the one on the first or second drive where Bo had like literally all day to throw, and he was staying with the receiver step for step, and then like they get to the the boundary, receiver just shakes him out. He makes a catch on him. That was like that wasn't great for Brandon. I turned to the bear. I was like, I'm a Brandon Stevens defender, but I cannot defend that one.
The one early on, Sutton did get him on that one for sure. Yeah. But it just feels like so many times he's right there and he just, I don't know what to say. It's like Harbaugh sometimes will say, like, I don't have a coaching point on a penalty like that. I don't have anything to say. That's his way of like not criticizing the refs. He'll say, I have nothing I can tell him as a player to do differently. So I don't know. On that one penalty, I felt for him there. He came up and made some plays in the run. Wiggins also, speaking of guys that are very physical, despite not being, maybe weighing a ton or being the biggest dude on earth, had some physicality about him as well in this game too. So think this was a good get-right game. They used a little bit more Malik Harrison, it felt like, maybe a little bit more base because of being down defensive linemen. We'll see what the numbers are, snap count-wise and all that stuff tomorrow. But, yeah, an easy E here in the comments. B. Steve getting attacked and will continue to do so. Had such a good year last year. If there's a place to attack, that's a good place. It is what it is. He's going to get targeted. I think he was targeted like second most in the NFL last year among all coverage defenders. So targets are going to keep going that way. Hopefully Marlon's able to heal up. Definitely didn't look right. I don't know why. The Broncos probably would have liked to attack him a little more. He's kind of jogging lightly. I would expect the Bengals to do so. Bengals super banged up on offense too, and it is a short week, so we'll see. Anything can happen. But yeah, Ravens defense, man, physical, got the pick. Figured out how to get some pressure in the second half. They just stayed out of their own way, right? They just kind of fucking stayed out of their own way against a rookie quarterback, and they let this offense do the damn thing. DVOA, Aaron Schatz, that whole spiel. Aaron is saying like this might end up turning out to be because of how highly ranked the Broncos defense was via DVOA, might be the best 9-week offense in NFL history. The efficiency is insane. They're cooking absolutely everyone. So it's Ravens offense. Like we're getting into the details of this defense, figure shit out. Hopefully they look better against the Bengals than they did the last time they played them. I still will contest and say the only team that actually cooked the Ravens defense thoroughly was the Bengals. So can you adjust? Can you get into it? We'll try and break some of it down. It's a short week. We're both going to the game. We'll try and make it as fun as possible, but would love. We got the judge here saying missing Nnamdi Madubuike on both sides of the milk carton. And pardon me, I've probably said Justin 100 times. I don't think that's something he gets upset about, but Nnamdi Madubuike wants to go by that. So we'll try our best there. But yeah, I do think that offensive lines are throwing the kitchen sink. I do think the Ravens moved around a little bit. I do think they paid him enough money where it doesn't matter what offenses do. You hope he can have an impact regardless. So trade deadline Tuesday, nothing else important happening nationwide on Tuesday, November 5th.
None at all.
As we've said. So most important deal of business occurring in this nation, the NFL trade deadline on November 5th. We'll see. Lots of names getting floated out. The Dolphins lose. A lot of teams lost today. The Saints lose today. That puts them kind of out of the picture. Who else we got? I think the Patriots now are probably solidly out of it.
Panthers definitely. They've already
Panthers definitely out of it. The Giants probably sitting pretty shitty. Saints, Panthers, Dolphins, Browns at this point, Patriots, the Cowboys maybe. Tank Lawrence, a name that keeps getting floated. The Raiders.
I know people are throwing those around, and I totally get it. But like Jerry is not going to sell. Jerry's just going to hang on to his assets, and he's just going to try to turn this thing into a Super Bowl team.
It's like the same as the Jets. It's the same as the Jets. Like they're too far gone to try to get fourth round picks.
Here's the thing. Like Jerry is way more savvy than Woody Johnson. He's just got to act like it. Like he's got to get into the offseason and he's got to start throwing the chips around. And he's not doing it. I want Jerry to do it. Come on, Jerry. Like
come on, Jerry.
Let's get this Cowboys team rolling. That's what I want.
Come on, Jerry. Anything else come to mind for you, my friend, from today? How was your concession experience?
It was fantastic. Honestly, it was like, I complain a lot about the fact that like things get a little slow towards halftime. I went a little bit before halftime, I'll say that, and it was, not too bad at all. It was quick, it was concise, it was fine. I got my Stella, I got my hot dog, got my Doritos, got back to the seats. It was great. No complaints. And a great tailgate too. Shout out to Big Tone and the boys. They put on a good one as always.
They certainly do. I've been there a handful of times. So you're looking for a place to go. If you're going to the Bengals game, you need some tips, you need some tricks, all that good stuff. Joe DeMartin asked, how was the crowd? I was pleasantly surprised by the crowd, I'll say. I think it was good participation. The game was a lot fuller than I expected based on some availability of tickets. Corgi races at halftime.
They were good.
I'm going to say it. Don't ever let that band play at halftime again.
No,
do not let that band play at halftime. I will watch the Corgi races all day. There's pandemonium going on during the Corgi races at halftime.
Yeah,
a lot of investors.
We had a fight in our section, and there were people thrown out. I was like, "What the heck is going on? Can we just watch the corgi races? Evidently not. People were getting thrown out, and goodness me, what can I do? I wasn't going to step in, but
the corgis did fight on the field. There were some corgi scraps as well. I don't know if you caught on to those.
I told you
going on among the corgi community.
I told you I went to the wiener dog race at Ocean Pines this past summer.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So I was primed for this, and I was like, yep, this is right and exactly what I was expecting. It was fantastic.
Very pleased with the crowd. I thought it was my experience was really positive. I do like knowing there was a fight. I like to know that the juice is juicing. I like to know that there's fights happening here and there.
Yeah, it was weird.
I'm not encouraging you to fight.
It wasn't a fight.
Anti-fight podcast, but I like to know somebody's out there getting a little frisky.
It wasn't a fight. I think there was a older lady who was not too taken with some comments from a gentleman right behind her about standing up or not standing up, and she got him removed. And I was not too happy about that because we're a big stand-up, podcast, when you're in third down, fourth down, things like that. I think that's what happened. I don't know. So I don't have the full story, obviously. However, that's just what I saw. And I was, let the people stand up. That's what I say.
Let the people stand. Baltimore School for the Arts, Joe DeMartin here. What was the name of the gentleman that would do the national anthem during the Super Bowl year and prior?
I forget what his name was. He was really good. Michelle something. Yeah, Michelle something. I forget his last name. Michelle something. Anyway,
Michelle, it was something along those lines.
Michelle Miller. Is that what it is? Taylor Hodges?
Michelle Miller.
Big T.
Michelle Miller. He was unbelievable. I would like there to be some consistency. Let's get the little things right. If you have a different national anthem singer every week, then how can you perform the same every week, right? Let's get it all right. Ed Reed, how can you expect to win a Super Bowl if you can't put your towel in the waste bin? Come on. Yeah. Let's get the Baltimore School for the Arts and their beautiful angelic singers every week. Let's buckle it down. Let's get them in there. One less variable, right? Yeah.
Hodges is like the biggest Baltimore sports history guy of all time. Like, he would put me to shame. Like, you gotta sit down with Hodges for a minute and he'll school you.
We'll have him on for Michelle Miller, who I think relocated to maybe the Galveston, Texas region, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in the Houston-ish area. So would love to have some consistency there. I love the Corgi race. I loved the Baltimore School for the Arts national anthem. Those were both A+. So guess what? The Ravens win 41-10. Maybe get the Corgis out at halftime. Maybe it'll be Flo Rida, who I feel like keeps playing in Baltimore. It'll be like Flo Rida, Big Boy, that kind of. I love. That's okay too. I thought Big Boy was sick. Flo Rida was fine. Big Boy.
I love both those guys, Flo Rida and Big Boy. Big Boy, Atlanta icon. Obviously, I love Big Boy, and Flo Rida, very fun too. So,
I haven't heard anything about that. Who would be performing at halftime? I haven't heard anything about that. So hopefully the Corgis again. Honestly, Corgis under the primetime lights would be electric.
Would be.
All right. Well, I think that does it, Jake. If you have not, we'd love to have you on YouTube instead of Twitter. Hop on over, subscribe, like. Shout out to Jimmy's for everything they do. Shout out to all of our sponsors. We will be messing around at the Evermore. What is it? Evermore Heat Festival? What's it called, Jakey?
Nevermore Hot.
Nevermore Hot. Also, I was close. Nevermore Hot Festival at Peabody Brewing on the 15th. I'll be there. I'm just going to go there just because I like that kind of stuff. So if anybody wants to go mess around, Chase Rice this Thursday. Okay.
You're a big Chase Rice guy.
Couldn't name one song, but I know that the songs I've heard I do like. A little bit of a different vibe.
That's a franchise. Like, she loves Chase Rice. I know she's listening to this too.
She's more of a Wallen girl.
Interesting. That's kind of similar avenues. We're walking down the street. We take a right. It's like that's the fork going the other way. It's very similar.
Chase Rice, handsome guy. I believe he did appear on The Bachelor. Did a private. I recall that now that I'm looking at his face.
That would really shock me.
Yes, correct. There was the girl that was on the date while he was performing dated him.
Yep. The girl that was on the date that was performing dated him. He does. Ready, set, let's roll. Ready, set, let's ride. So that kind of thing. I can get down to some. Chase Rice.
He was not a country calling. I got to hold that against him. So
we'll hold it against him. Things we will not hold against the listeners if they don't subscribe. but we'd love to have it. So get us the hell out of here.
Absolutely. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you guys are enjoying this and you're not already. Comment on all the videos, like them all. Follow us on social media if you're so inclined. On X, we are at Exit52 Podcast. I am at Jake Louque. That's Louque. Spenny is at Ravens4 Dummies. That is the number 4. You can find Brian at Barstool Banks, Eric at EDITTI22, Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10. Shout out to our great sponsors, Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Blackhead Susan Spices, all the great sponsors that we have. We appreciate you guys very much. And we will talk to you again very, very soon.
Very soon. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Who knows? See you.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. This is going to be quite a week. Are you excited for how crazy this week is going to be?
Crazy madness. I am excited. I love it. Football, baby. We only have a little bit of it left. It'll be over before you know it. We're at the.
God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it to be over. Like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing.
You're terrible. That was terrible. We don't want any of that. Everyone boo Jake. Boo.
No, don't boo me. It's going to be amazing.
Boo. Jake got drunk and hates football. Boo.
Spring. We can play golf.
We can play golf. I just played golf. You can play golf right now. It's beautiful out today.
I don't know. I'm just a hater.
Go play tomorrow. Take a day. Go play some golf.
Maybe I could.
See ya.
Thank you.